Welcome to ePathshala lecture series on computer science. The paper is software quality management. The module is software testing. Testing is used for finding the errors. The principal investigator is Dr. T.V. Keetha, paper coordinator Dr. Ranjini Parthasarathi. I am the content writer Dr. A. Kannan, content reviewer Dr. K. Mehta. The learning objectives are to introduce the role of testing to enhance the software quality. Software quality is an important aspect. It must be enhanced in many ways. One of the ways is software testing. The objective is to show the various methods of software testing. Software can be tested either individually or collectively using different techniques. Therefore, we have to see what type of methods are used in software testing to provide an overall idea about error detection and removal, and to provide an idea about testing methods. First, let me define what is meant by software testing. According to Klein-Meyers, testing is the process of executing a program with the intent of finding errors. Errors will be coming starting from requirement collection. For example, you take the collection of requirement for implementing a student information system. For making a student information system, let us assume that the pass mark is 50. You have to collect the requirements on what is the criteria for pass mark, the criteria for first class, distinction, etc. Suppose second class and pass starts with 50 mark and goes up to 59 mark. First class starts from 60 and goes up to 74 marks. Distinction starts from 75 marks and goes up to 100. The requirements collected must be recorded in a document. The SRS document should show greater than or equal to 50 for pass mark. If the recorder records wrongly that greater than 50 is pass mark, actually greater than or equal to 50 is pass mark, but it is by mistake, it is entered as greater than 50. 50 mark will be treated as fail mark. It should be found out before the publication of result. Suppose you are using the software developed for processing the results and all the marks are processed, results are declared using this, a number of people will be affected. Therefore, the software must be tested before putting into use. While testing, you have to check the analysis, that is software requirement documents. So, starting from analysis, we have to do testing in each phase of the life cycle model. You have to do testing at analysis, you have to do testing at design, you have to do testing after coding, you have to do testing after implementation, after deployment, like that you have to do testing. If you do the testing early, the cost of finding the error will be less. If you do later phases will be costly. Therefore, you have to find it early. This is the modern testing. But according to this, the definition of Klein-Meyers, testing is a process of executing a program. It need not be now program, it should be a document itself. So, executing a program with the intent of finding errors. If you want to find errors after writing the program, then this definition is okay. So, this is a good definition, but if you want to do better testing, you have to go for life cycle testing. In the life cycle testing, without executing the program itself, you have to check the analysis document, you have to find errors. Based on analysis document, whether design document is made, that also you have to check. In this way, you have to find the errors in each phase of the software development life cycle. Another definition for software testing is obviously concerned with errors, faults, failures and incidents. A test is the act of exercising software with the test cases with an objective of finding failure, demonstrate correct execution. Let me define what is meant by a failure. If you make an error, that error will lead to fault. A fault will lead to failure. Let me take the example of student mark processing system. If the requirement is collected as greater than or equal to 50 is the correct requirement. If it is corrected as greater than 50 is pass mark. You are writing a software using this error. That error will be leading to fault into the system. You are developing a system, software system, using the errorly collected requirement that will lead to a fault in the software. When you execute the software, it will fail, the system will fail, the software will run, but the system, the purpose of the system will fail, and incidents will be the effect of that. The testing life cycle starts with requirement specification. In the requirement specification, if there is an error, it will lead to fault, and there can be an additional error at the design. When you are translating a requirement analysis document into a design document, it may lead to a fault if there is an error in the analysis document. Additional errors also may be introduced at the design. So, a fault is coming, and at the same time errors also may be introduced at this stage. When you introduce a new error or a fault due to the error in the requirement, there will be an error in the design. That error will lead to a fault in the design. When you have a fault in the design and you are doing the coding, in the coding also you are making some error. That coding error plus the fault coming from design will make a fault in the coding. Now, this fault must be identified by identifying the error using testing. So, testing helps to find errors and fault. If you don't do testing, the fault will lead to failure of the system. In the incident, you have to do fault classification, you have to isolate the fault, and you have to fix the fault. These are the things you have to do in the testing life cycle. We will define error systematically. Error represents mistakes made by people. Fault, it is an error, it is also a type of error, but fault will occur if requirements are having error and the error is implemented into the software, that will lead to fault. So, fault may be categorized as fault of commission and fault of omission. Fault of commission is we enter something into representation that is incorrect. That means you are implementing, you are putting, but you are not putting the correct thing. For example, you are entering 50, but you are not putting correctly 50 and more, you are putting greater than 50. This is only fault of commission. In the fault of omission, designer can make error of omission. The resulting fault is that something is missing that should have been present in the representation. For example, equal to is missed. This is called fault of omission. Omission is, it is not represented. Failure occurs when fault is executed. Incident, it is a behavior of fault. An incident is the symptom associated with a failure that alerts the user to the occurrence of a failure. Now, we have discussed so far on what is an error. Error will lead to fault, fault will lead to failure, failure will lead to incident. To avoid this, we have to do testing. Testing is done using a test case. For example, you want to check whether if x greater than y in a program statement or even in the requirement collection, x is greater than y, this is a statement. You want to check the statement x greater than y. To check this, you have to take some sample values. The sample values may be, in one case, x is greater and y is less. In another case, x is less and y is greater. if you want to test x greater than y, at least 2 test cases are necessary. You can have one test case in which x equal to y, that also is may be necessary, but the minimum and the optimal number of test cases is one is x greater than y, another is x less than y. When you say x greater than y, you have to write 2 cases, one in one x greater than, another x not greater than. When you say x greater than, it satisfies the greater than condition. When you say not greater than, it satisfies equal to and less than, both conditions. Therefore, all the 3 conditions, namely greater than, equal to and greater than, less than, all the 3 things are taken care of by 2 test cases. So, a test case is an example which is associated with the program behavior. It carries a set of input and list of expected output. For example, you are giving the inputs phi x equal to phi and y equal to 2. You want to test the statement if x greater than y. When x equal to phi and y equal to 2, you are testing the statement x greater than y. It will give the output true. Suppose you are giving x equal to phi, y equal to 10, you are checking whether x is greater than y. It will give the output false. Therefore, in the test cases, you are giving some values, it will take the values as input and provides a list of expected output. Now, let us see the difference between let us define verification and validation. Verification is the process of determining whether output of some one phase of development conforms to the previous phase. For example, design may be depending on analysis, coding should be depending on design, and testing may be depending on the coding, like that. You take the life cycle, software development life cycle. In the life cycle, in the current phase of the life cycle, whether we are implementing the rules or criteria given in the previous phase, that is only verification. Validation, it is a process of determining whether a fully developed software system conforms to SRS document. In the validation, we check the whole program, the whole software, whether it conforms to the requirement. This is the difference between verification and validation. Verification checks whether the current phase conforms with the previous phase. Validation checks whether the entire output is conforming to the SRS document. Verification versus validation. Verification is concerned with phase containment of errors, and validation is concerned about the final product to be error free. Both are necessary. Verification, if you do in each and every phase, then only the validation will become correct. Now, classification of testing methods. There are 2 levels of testing. One is unit level testing, another is system level testing. We can say 3 levels: unit level, system level and integration level. Unit level means you take a larger project. When you do a larger project, assume that it consists of 10 modules. When you make 10 modules of a program or a software, you test the module 1 separately. You are developing module 1, testing it, developing module 2, testing it. Like that, if you are testing each and every module separately, it is called unit level testing. This is useful in group projects. In group projects, many people will be developing the same software, but different people will be developing different modules of the software. Everybody will be testing the software on their own. That is only unit level testing. Normally, unit testing is done by the developer by themselves. Next, integration testing. In the integration testing, suppose module 1 and module 2 are over, they have to be integrated together into a single module. That is called integration level. Integration can be done either using a top-down approach or using a bottom-up approach. In the top-down approach, first main module is made and the sub-modules are made, designed one by one and integrated with the main module. For example, you have a program with one main program and 5 functions, namely function 1, function 2, function 3, etc. up to function 5. Now, there are 6 modules. Main module, function 1 to function 5, 5 modules, totally 6 modules. When you do the testing, first you will implement the main module, test it. Now you are coming to function 1. You are writing program for function 1, testing it separately. You are integrating function 1 with the main module. You are testing again. It is called integration testing. Next, you are doing unit testing for function 2. It is tested separately. After that, you are integrating with the integration of main program, function 1. Now, the integrated software will have main program, function 1 and function 2. This way, you are doing unit test for each and every module, integrating them one by one using a top-down integration. You can go for a bottom-up integration. In the bottom-up integration, you are not coming to the main program first. You are making function 1, function 2, testing them separately. Function 1 is tested, function 2 is tested using separate test cases. You are integrating function 1 and function 2 to give a parent module. Assume that it is a tree. Function 1 is a leaf level node. Function 2 is another leaf level node. You are integrating to get a parent node. Like this, you are integrating function 3 and function 4, function 5 to get a another node. Now, the parent of functions 1 and 2, let us say P1. The parent of functions 3, 4, 5, let us say it is P2. We have parent 1 and parent 2. This parent 1 and parent 2 are separately tested. After that, they are integrated. When you integrate them, you are getting the entire software integrated into one parent. That is called main program. Now, finally, you are integrating everything into one main program, and that type of testing is called bottom-up integration. In the system testing, you will have alpha testing, beta testing and gamma testing. First you do the testing using developers. Then in the beta testing using friendly customers. In the gamma testing, it is called acceptance testing. It will be tested by the original customer. Like this, different levels of testings are available. By doing all this type of testing, errors are reduced. When errors are reduced, faults are avoided. When you avoid fault, failure will not come. That means the quality of the software is increased. Therefore, if you want to enhance the quality of software, you have to do very thorough testing. We can do testing in two different methods. One is functional testing or black box testing, and another is called white box testing. In the black box testing, we test the functionality of the program. For example, you want to find the tax for somebody. It should find tax. You want to find the average salary of all the employees. You have to check whether it is finding average only. On the other hand, in the white box method, you have to check each and every statement, each and every loop, each and every block whether they are working. In the black box testing, you are not bothered about the individual statements, individual blocks, individual loops and so on. But collectively, they should work together, and they are intended for what purpose, that purpose should be solved. Whether it is giving the intended output or not, that much only we are checking in the black box. On the other hand, white box, we are checking each and every statement. White box testing is equivalent to glass box testing. If you put some items in a glass, you can see them. So, white box testing is visible throughout statements. On the other hand, black box testing, it is not visible, we are seeing a just box. Now, testing methodologies are black box testing and white box testing. Normally, you have to do both type of testing. If you do only black box testing, you cannot find errors at the statement level. If you go for white box testing directly, then it will consume time. Therefore, you can go for black box followed by white box. Now, we will see the need for unit testing. Unit testing means if you have many modules, you have to test each and every module individually. It is applicable to modular design. We will see where modular design is important. Suppose we are doing a big group project and that project should be finished faster. It is having independent modules. We can allot the same work to different people by splitting the work into different modules. Different groups will be, different team members of the group will be working on one module, they will be testing. This is only the advantage of modular programming. It will increase the speed of development. Similarly, you are attacking a problem. You have a very large problem. The complex problem will be divided into small sub problems. Each sub problem can be treated as a module. If you are implementing one module at a time and integrating them into a bigger software, the complexity is reduced. On the other hand, if you take a very complex example and trying to solve everything, it is very difficult to write code, very difficult to do the design, and testing will be very complex. Therefore, you have to go for modular design. When you go for modular design, unit testing helps to inspect individual modules. Now, with the individual module testing or unit testing, we can locate the error in a small region. If you have a very big program, assume that your program consists of around 10,000 lines of code, but the error is available in 2-3 lines. That also between 9:10 to 9:15, you have to find out where the error is coming. For that purpose, first you do the testing. By do the testing, you will find which function it is coming. After that, you can go for debugging. With debugging, you can find out what is the cause for that. Or you can go for black box testing, find the function, come to white box testing, find the line or statement where it is coming, and using debugging, how it is coming, from where it is propagated, how the error was propagated from one place to another place, that analysis we can do. So, in an integrated system, it may not be easier to determine which module has caused fault. Therefore, you have to do testing first, then you have to go for debugging. If you go for debugging directly, then even logical errors and semantic errors may be occurring. That type of errors cannot be found just by debugging. So, you have to do testing. After that only you have to go for debugging. It will reduce the debugging efforts. Need for designing test cases. Test cases are only examples, sample values which are used to test whether the system is running correctly or not. Therefore, you have to use proper test cases. Almost every non-trivial system has an extremely large input data domain, thereby making exhaustive testing impractical. That means you cannot test each and every line. Suppose you have a while loop, you have to check whether all the statements in the loop are executed. To check that, you have to check whether the loop is executed. In the while loop, while A is greater than B, like that you are giving a statement. Now, you have to check whether A greater than B is satisfied correctly or not. And the next testing is whether the values of A and B are affected inside the while loop. If you do this type of testing, that is sufficient. In the while loop, you have to check whether all statements will be executed by checking the condition. Next, whether the values are changed inside the while loop, that too are sufficient to test the entire lines of code. Suppose the while loop consists of 50 statements, we need not execute each and every line of the while loop. If you do that, 50 test cases you have to use, 50 sets of test cases. On the other hand, if you do optimal number of test cases by checking the condition or the testing methods if you are using, then it will perform exhaustive testing just by doing a subset of analysis. If randomly selected, then test case may lose significance since it may expose an already detected error by some other test case. Therefore, you have to be very careful in selecting test cases. Test case selection must be in such a way that each and every statement is tested only once for one purpose, and all statements are tested and we check whether each and every statement is executed at least once. Now, design of test cases. A number of test cases do not determine the effectiveness. For example, if you want to check whether x is greater than y or y is greater than y, you want to find the bigger number among two numbers. You are given two numbers x and y, you have to find the maximum among x and y. The statement is, if x is greater than y, then maximum equal to x, else maximum equal to y. To test this, you see the two set of test cases. One set of test cases, you see the first test case, x equal to 3 and y equal to 2. Another test case is x equal to 2 and y equal to 3. You want to check the greater than condition. In the first one, x is greater than, y is small. Therefore, the greater than will be true. In the second case, x is 2, y is 3. Therefore, the greater than condition will be false. So, we have to evaluate once true, once false. This will be sufficient to test the statements, or even if you write a small program to find a bigger number between two numbers, the program itself can be tested using these two test cases. Instead of giving like this, suppose you are selecting test cases like x equal to 3, y equal to 2, x equal to 4, y equal to 3, x equal to 5, y equal to 1, like that 3 test cases. In all the 3 cases, x is greater, y is less. Therefore, it is going to evaluate only true condition. Exhaustive testing should test both true condition and false condition with the minimum number of test cases. In the second example, you have more than 2 test cases, but it is checking only true condition, it is not checking the false condition. Therefore, it is not optimal number of test cases. The first one is producing optimal number of test cases. So, the second test case suit will falter. Each test case should detect different type of errors. Here we are checking whether x is greater than y alone. You can test the type of the for example, integer, float, conversion, all that things if you want to test, you can have different type of test cases. For doing testing, either you can go for manual methods using algorithms. Many algorithms are available. For example, white box testing, we have statement coverage, condition coverage, basis path testing, like that so many techniques are available. Using these techniques, you can do manual testing. But nowadays, large projects are carried out. The number of lines of code is very big. Analysis document size is very big. Design document is also huge in volume. Testing such a big software is cumbersome. Therefore, we have to use automated testing tools. One example is WinRunner or load runner. Like that many testing tools are available. Testing tools are used for finding errors effectively. Instead of doing manual testing, you can go for testing tool. When you do a testing tool, you can apply web based testing or database testing or application testing, programming testing, any type of testing. Specialized tools are available. With the testing tools, we can do error finding very fast. We can find the errors very fast. Testing tools are also used to reduce the time to fix an error. So, it is finding the errors accurately, it is reducing the time to find the error. Different tools are used for testing different types of software. You need not use the same type of tool for all types of errors, finding all types of errors. For application software, one type of tool, or for system software, one type of tool. Now, by doing testing, you can increase the quality. Testing improves quality by reducing the errors. It is used to increase the reliability of the software. Testing helps to reduce the software failures, and the testing is coordinated between testing team as well as quality management teams. Now, let me come to the conclusion. Testing is performed to detect errors. Testing can be done either after writing the program or throughout the software development life cycle. Life cycle testing involves testing in analysis, design, coding, testing, implementation, maintenance, etc. And life cycle testing is useful to find errors early also. Testing tools are used to identify errors very fastly. Test cases are minimized for performing optimal testing, and the software quality is improved or achieved by applying effective testing cases. So, in this class, we have seen the use of testing for enhancing the quality of software. Thank you.